Hey brothers and sisters, Steve Monette here with another video in my Bible Prophecy Bite series where we look at Bible scripture, history, and current events that all point to the sooner return of Jesus the Messiah. Okay, so for today's video, let's talk about Iran, better known as Persia in the Bible. And it has been a very active 4 days when it comes to events in the Middle East as they relate to Persia, aka Iran. You know, interestingly, I've been working some very long shifts over the past 4 days, so I was not able to put out a video as quickly as I would have liked, but in retrospect, I'm glad that I didn't because the situation was and is so fluid and so many changes have happened that it just would not have made a lot of sense for me to put out a video, prematurely. But as you know, this whole thing started with a U.S. contractor that was killed in Iraq by Iranian proxies. That was a red line in the sand for President Trump. And as such, he then ordered a missile strike that killed 25 Iranian proxies. And then, of course, the Iranians attacked the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. Then the USA took out Qasem Soleimani. Iran raised the red flag of war over their most important mosque, and then they proceeded to shoot off 15 ballistic missiles that apparently could not hit the broadside of a red barn. This was good for us, the USA. Nobody was hurt. But many people, thought this was the start of World War III, and others thought it was the beginnings of Gog and Magog. I have to respectfully disagree, and I hope you take a minute to listen to why I came to this conclusion, because I do believe it is very biblically based, and my reasoning is biblically based, okay? That's not to say that this wasn't something important, because it absolutely was, and I'll get to that towards the end of this video, okay? But I just want to walk you through, for the moment, why I do not think it's anything to get too excited about, okay? As you know, I am a paramedic in a busy 911 system, and it is by my nature to try and get all of the facts of a situation before I make a decision on what to do next. And this situation with Iran and USA is no different. I wanted to get all of the facts and see what was happening and see what was going to happen from a biblical prophecy perspective before I went out and made a video or even tried to make a comment. So that's why I'm kind of glad that it took 4 days for me to put this whole thing together, okay? But this situation is definitely a little different, no doubt. But let's take a step back, okay? And let's look at this situation, from Bible prophecy, and let's do that together, okay? Let's see what this is, and let's see what it isn't, okay? First off, I do not think that this situation with Iran means the Lord's return is coming in the next few days or even few weeks. I have seen a few YouTubers referring to a video of an Israeli boy named Nathan who seems to imply that a small geopolitical event of some sort would lead to the return of Messiah within a few weeks after that event had occurred. I just don't see that happening right now, okay? Second, I do not think this is related to Gog and Magog. And here's why. Gog and Magog require that Iran come down from the north towards Israel with a well-equipped, well-funded, well-motivated army. If Iran was to escalate the current situation with the USA today, or even in the coming weeks for that matter, the USA would absolutely destroy the oil revenue-producing assets and infrastructure inside of the boundaries of Iran. It would cripple them. It would cripple their war machine. It would cripple them financially. But, conversely, it is clear that Iran has pushed back from the table in the last 12 to 18 hours or so. So I find Iran's response to be kind of in agreement with what the Bible is saying. By pushing back from the table, Iran stays alive and ready for the real battle, which is with Israel. It's not with the USA, okay? So again, let the Bible tell you what's going on, okay? Third, if Iran Turkey or even Russia were to attack Israel today, the USA would respond in a way that would shock the world to its core. Remember, we are the world's most sophisticated, advanced armed forces in the entire world. And not a single one of these countries wants to go to war with the USA because of that. And don't forget, Russia's a nuclear power. We are a nuclear power, okay? Who wants to go to war under those conditions? It's a zero-sum game, meaning no one would win, and the losses would be devastating. So why even bother? Okay, why bother? All right, next. As we know, the USA is not in the Gog and Magog war at all. The Bible is very clear on that. Israel is going to have to face that battle all alone. Therefore, one of three things has to happen that ensures the USA is not able to help Israel during their time of need. It's my strong belief that the USA will somehow be removed from the geopolitical world stage. Okay? Now, this means that either the USA is going to be devastated by the rapture of the church, devastated from a natural disaster type event, or will have its leader replaced in the upcoming November elections with somebody such as Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren that absolutely hates Israel. Okay? So the USA has to be out of the picture in order for Gog and Magog to begin. That's not the case today. The USA is very strong militarily, financially, and economically today. Iran isn't. Okay, so it doesn't make sense that this would be the beginnings of World War III or even Gog and Magog for that matter. Okay. All right, next. If you read the book of Revelation, you will see that the sixth seal must be broken first, which is the rapture of the church. Once that happens, then the trumpet judgments are executed, and then after that, the bowl judgments are executed. The battle of Gog and Magog is the Armageddon War, which are the sixth and seventh bowl judgments. And I've already proven that scripturally in a few of my past videos, so I'm not going to spend any time on that today, okay? So there really is no reason whatsoever to believe that this current situation with the USA and Iran is related to Gog and Magog. It just does not make any sense whatsoever from a biblical perspective, okay? Finally, we're in January. The rapture of the church is most likely to happen at the time of Pentecost, which is in spring or summer. There are some that argue that the rapture of the church will happen at the Feast of Trumpets, which is fall. No matter how you look at it, that's still months away. This event with Iran and the USA is peaking way too early to be directly related to Gog and Magog. Okay? Now, what does all of this ranting and raving and shooting off of missiles by Iran and the USA really mean? And I do think it does mean something, okay? From a biblical prophecy perspective, that is. To me, and I've really felt this in my spirit in the past couple days, this is just another huge advanced warning from the Lord. And I think he's asking the questions. Do you know what time it is? Are you ready? Are you reading my word to see how I told you that this would happen? I told you all about these things so that you would be ready. You see, the Lord has already sent us a warning of sorts by showing us that Gog and Magog is in the preparation phases. Now I believe the Lord is starting to show us that the four angels of the Euphrates are in the preparation phase as well, and that's in the sixth trumpet judgment. And we know that the four angels of the Euphrates are Syria, Turkey, Iraq, and Iran. And make no mistake, these four angels or four countries that touch the Euphrates are getting very restless. And I mean really restless. You can see that, and there's no doubt about that. But here's the main point that I really want you to take away from this situation between Iran and USA. If the rapture of the church happens before Gog and Magog and before the four angels of the Euphrates are released to start a war that kills 1/3 of mankind, yet we are seeing the signs of both today, imagine how close we are to the real show, which is the rapture of the church. You see, I'll say this again. The Lord is warning us. He is pointing us to his book. He's pointing us to Revelation and to all prophetic documentation. He is doing everything that he can to tell us, I am at the door. Wake up. You must know what time it is. You must be ready. Time is very, very short. Unfortunately, people just don't care today. They just don't care. There is so much suffering and distress and heartache and evil in this world today. People just don't care. This is the great tribulation that Jesus spoke of and said that we all must go through. Because you see, what is coming to this earth is not a time of great tribulation. It is a time of God's wrath. Any Bible scholar or preacher or YouTuber that attempts to tell you otherwise obviously cannot do a simple word study. Go and prove it for yourselves. Go read it for yourselves. The Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 5:9 and Romans 8:35 that we are kept from wrath. But Jesus himself says that we must go through tribulation. And you can find that in Acts 14:22, John 16:33, 2 Corinthians 1:3, and James 1:2-4. And there are many others as well that all say we must go through tribulation. Now remember, tribulation and wrath are two separate words in the Greek language, and they both have very different meanings. Okay? Please don't let anyone fool you on that. So when you hear someone say that, oh yeah, what's coming is the great tribulation. No, it's not. What's coming is the wrath of God. That is very, very clear in the scriptures. Okay? But as I just said, you could tell people this and most of them don't even care. Just look at the situation between the USA and Iran. Even though it is another advance warning, I talked to people about it at work. They could care less. It doesn't affect their lives. It doesn't affect their situation. It doesn't affect their home life. So they just blow it off as whatever. There's a true apathy that's going on in this world. And I think that's that's part of the falling away that we all have to go through, that we must see. So again, let me close it with this. The Lord is screaming at us. I am at the door. Do you know what time it is? Are you ready? Go read my word. See that I told you that this would happen. The time is so short. Can you see the four angels of the Euphrates getting restless? Can you see Gog and Magog getting prepared? How much more can I do to warn you? It's all right there, brothers and sisters. But in the meantime, keep strong, keep in the faith, and most of all, keep looking up, for our redemption draws near. Thanks for watching.